Okay, so this week we're gonna go in depth, a little bit more in depth on the dimensional analysis or converting between units. So it says use dimensional analysis, the factor label method. So that's the ones that we were using with the multiplication of fractions to solve the following problems. Show all the steps needed to convert from starting units to ending units. Indicate all relationships needed before setting up and solving the problem. Use any of the following relationships if needed. So these are the facts that we might be using. Notice that this is distance, this is weight, this is more weight but like liquid, and this is time. All right, so a runner competed in a 5 mile run. How many yards did she run? So we're gonna set it up. Here we have to use, so we're using miles, but we're changing it to yards. So we look for yards and miles here. We look in distance. So 1 mile equals 1,760 yards. So we're gonna use that one. Okay, so we're gonna go 5 miles over 1 times, and then we're going to use 1 mile equals 1,760 yards. So we're going to put mile on the bottom so we can cancel the units. So that's 1 mile and then 1,760 yards. Okay. That way we can cancel these two units and our answer will be in yards. So we multiply across. That's 5 times 1,000, 5 times 1,760, that's 8,800 over 1 times 1 is 1, which is 1,800 yards, right? And that is my answer. Okay, all right, that's just like what we are doing last week. Let's look for one that let's keep going and see if there are some that are more involved. Let's see. In the Tour de France, cyclists ride 3,653.6 kilometers in 20 days. How many miles do they go? Now, it says, it's funny that it says here, hint, watch for unimportant information. What's the unimportant information here? Well, in 20 days, it doesn't really matter because, see, it's 3,653.6. They want to know that number in miles. They're not asking for another set of days or anything. It's the same in same days. How many miles did they run? So watch for this number. This is not needed in our calculations. All right, let's try it. So that's 3,653.6, and this is in kilometers over 1. So kilometers would be on the bottom. Let's look for that. Let's look for it in right here in distance. So this one appears that we can use it. All right, let's do it. Kilometers go on the bottom. So that's 1.6093 kilometers, and that equals 1 mile. It's my answer in miles. Yep, that's all I want. All right, this was a short one too. So that's 3, that times that, and that times that, and then you divide 653.6 over 1.6093, and then you divide. So that's 653.6 divided by 1.609. I'm making a mess here. 3653.6 divided by 1.6093, and that is 2,270.30. And then my kilometers cancel, and my answer is in miles. And that is my answer. All right, let's keep going. So this one, it says, after a nice meal, perhaps you'd finish it off with 1 pound of cake for dessert. That's a lot. What would the name of this cake be in grams? what would the name of this cake? So instead of a pound cake, it would be something grams. That's funny. Okay, good. All right, let's look for our chart here. Pound. So we say so like 1 pound is 16 ounces. Also, 1 kilogram is 2.205, and we want this in grams, and 1 ounce is 28.35 grams. So we have 1 pound is 16 ounces, and then 1 ounce is 28.35 grams. This is these two. We're going to be using this one and this one because we have a pound here, we have a pound here, but we don't need ounces. But we know how many ounces uh, are in 28 grams. We know that 1 ounce is 28 grams. So we're going to use both because that will change our convert our units. All right. So let's change 1 pound of cake. So that's where are we here? So 1 pound of cake and then over 1 and then times. Now we want to use the pound is 16 ounces, so 1 pound on the bottom is 16 ounces, but we don't want ounces, we need to cancel ounces. Look, we want this one. 1 ounce is 28, so 1 ounce is 28.35 grams, and that's the one we need in grams. All right, there we go. So now we start multiplying and canceling our, let's just cancel our units first. So that goes, this one goes, and this one goes. So notice that there's not one that says pounds to grams directly. And that's why I'm using two different ones, these two, because there's no one that says 1 pound. I mean, 1 pound of cake is whatever grams. That's why I have to use multiple facts. All right, so now we multiply across, we multiply denominators. On the denominator is just 1. 1 times 1 is 1 times 1 is 1. So we're just going to multiply the top numbers. So that's 1 times 16 times uh, 28.35. So that's 453.6. And then you divide that, so that's 453.6 grams. And that's my answer. Now, they cancel here, and my answer is in grams. So notice that that's why I use two different ones, because there's not a direct fact. In these two, we just found whatever miles is in yards, but this one we didn't. We had to use multiple ones. All right, let's go to the other one. In the U.S., milk is sold by the gallon, while in Denmark, it is sold by the liter. How many liters of milk would you need to equal 1 gallon? All right, let's look what we have here. We have 1 liter is 1.057 quarts. 4 quarts is 1 gallon. 32 ounces is 1 quart, and 1 quart is 2 pints. So which ones do we want? We want a gallon and we want liters. Okay. Does it say gallons to liters anywhere? No. But we have this one and we have this one. We have 1 liter equals 1.057 quarts, and 4 quarts is 1 gallon. So we're going to be using those two again. All right, let's set them up. So that's 1 gallon. Yep. Over 1 times, and then we say that we're gonna use two different ones. So 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Okay, let's write that down. So 1 gallon equals 4 quarts times, but we don't want quarts. We want 1 liter. So we have the next one, which is 1 liter equals 1.057 quarts. Okay, let's set that up. So that's 1 liter, but quarts I'm going to put on the bottom to be able to cancel it. 1.057 quarts, and then equals 1 liter. So now I'm going to multiply across. All right, so 1 times 4 is 4 times 1 is 4 over 1 times 1.057, which is 1 times 1.057 is 1. And then you divide. So 4 divided by 1.057 equals 3.78 what? Well, let's cancel. Gallons with gallons, quarts with quarts, and then my answer is in liters. And that is my answer. All right, so um, let's keep going. One more. It says, if you go to school for 180 days each school year and each school day is 7 hours long, how many hours are spent in school in one school year? Oh, let's check that out then. So we know that 180 days of school, and then we need to know many things. We need to know one day is 24 hours. We know hours. We want in hours. So we need to know all our days. So but we know the time. So it says if you go to school for 180 days each school year, and each school day is 7 hours long, how many hours are spent in school in 1 year? All right, we need to know how many months are in 1 year. So that's 180. And then each school day, it's 7 hours long.